So there's been a lot of games that have come out recently, and each one claiming to be the game, that game that we've been looking forward to. I'm Nima. We're going to talk about, does Kena Bridge of Spirits live up to that title? So this game has been riled with a little bit of controversy as reviewers and critics alike didn't get a copy to review the game, or if they did, it was sparingly. Very few reviews came out before this game's actual release. And a lot of people thought quickly about Cyberpunk 2077 and how that was kind of locked and hidden under key until the public got to play it. And we were distraught by how bad this game was and how much it wasn't done. And so the first thought was, oh, that's going to be Kena. Also coming from a development team that really hasn't done video games before. The thing that they're most known for is a Legend of Zelda fan movie following Majora's Mask. And Kena itself has a pretty decent storyline. It starts off as you're a spirit guide named Kena. And as much as you fall in love with this character and the animations and the facial expressions and all those things that really just endear you to a character, we don't ever learn that much about Kena. And that's kind of a sad aspect to the game. But you are in this world of great beauty and wonderment, also desolation and destitute. The spirits that refuse to move on cause this corruption, if you will, in this beautiful world. And as a spirit guide, it is your job to send them on their way. And it could be by helping them achieve a goal that was unachieved. It could be helping them remember something, to find something. There's a few different avenues in which that you help these spirits move on. And you're aided by little spirits that are named Rot. And these little Rots, they help you along the way in multiple ways, not only in actual combat, but also in puzzle solving and world building. And these little creatures also liven up the game quite a bit. As I said, parts of this game get kind of desolate and lonely, but as you're running around, you'll see all these little spirits popping up everywhere, and you see your little rods. You also can buy them accessories like hats and masks and things like that. Just something to really keep the game kind of cute and fresh. And that's one thing I will say about the game. The character design is amazing. I think Pixar would struggle to do as well. Disney isn't even close to just how likable and wonderful these characters are. They're adorable. Everything in the realm of the good guys, so to speak, quote unquote, is cute. It's adorable. Like I said, the animations of just their facial expressions really, really make you want to learn more about these characters and understand their path. Where did the Rots come from? Where's Kena from? You want to know so much more about these characters, and it really engages you and really sucks you in. Now, this is a game that dropped last night at midnight, and I planned on playing for just a couple hours, and I ended up almost beating the game. I recently found out that you can game for 8.5, 9 hours without meaning to. And that's what this game did. Unfortunately, that's one of the downsides, is I beaten the game at 9 hours. And this is me running around trying to discover everything I could, and I'm done with it. For the price point, it's a good deal at $39.99, but for the length of it, it's disheartening, because this is a game that I want to be 20, 30 hours. Give me more. And it's already over. I think a lot of people are going to have that issue. Now, I like a game that gives you a good story, gives you a lot of fun, and then it's over. I don't need a 100-hour game. I don't need an Assassin's Creed kind of game where you literally are just gaming for 80, 90, 100 hours and it's still not done and it just keeps going. But it gets repetitive. It gets boring. You stop to really caring about what's going on because there's just so much in it. Oh, I do like the aspect of a game that is kind of on rails, that has a good story, has really deep characters, and has a lot of fun aspects, platforming, different environments, all of those things. I enjoy that. I don't need a game that's going to take forever. Now, I will say another maybe downside would be the combat. Quickly, you gain access to all of your abilities. It's not very long in the game that you have every tool at Kenna's disposal. Now, partially because the game is only 9 hours, but you have your staff, which is controlled by R1 and R2 as your main attacks. You have a dodge, and you have a block. You also do get access to a bow, which can in itself have its own combat techniques. By jumping and slowing time using the bow, you can hit weak points. And that's it, though. Those are your main attacks. Now, there's other things involved with the combat, like you can use the rots to distract an enemy, and then you can go up and get hits on them. Or you can use the rots at nearby areas to gain health, which you often need to. Because even though the combat is pretty simple, it's also pretty difficult, if I'm being honest, for a game that when I look at it, I kind of think it's maybe made for kids a little bit. It's not, but when you look at just at its base. But then when you actually play it, you're taken back by the complex storytelling and the difficult combat, if you will. There's so much more to this game that I just enjoy. The beauty, the environment itself. I love the aspect of the platforming. I think that a lot of people have said this is a Legend of Zelda kind of game, and I think there are elements of a Legend of Zelda. I also think there's a lot of elements of Pikmin, because another aspect of this game is using the rots to solve puzzles, and so you have them move objects to open up pathways for you. You have them form into kind of a spirit, and they destroy corruption to also open up pathways for you. There is, in my mind, I think Uncharted or even God of War type platforming. All of these things really form this wonderful game. There was so much gameplay that I wanted to actually add in the video because of so many different moments that took me by surprise. Just how wonderful it looked, how engaging it was, and how it just pulled you into the scenario in which you were playing. There is an instance where you're running through a dark forest and the lightning is done so well. It's so powerful. It's jarring. It's shocking. It's that moment that you really feel enveloped in the game. I think they just did wonderful job with things like that. And that's one of many that I'm referring to. That's not the only instance of the environment and the graphics just coming to life to really suck you in. As of this moment, on Metacritic, it's getting an 89. And I actually think it deserves higher than that. I would give it a 93 or 94, with the only critique really being it's not long enough. I would want more. But is that something that you can really critique a game for, of not giving you enough? I mean, aren't they doing their job at that point and at the price point? And I think that's a place where a lot of us were wondering, okay, how are we getting a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 level game here that is supposed to be a premium top cut game, and it's only $39.99, $20 cheaper than most Nintendo Switch games? What's the give or take here? And I think that's probably the answer, is it's not as long. But do we look back on Resident Evil Village and say, well, that was $70 and it was only 8-9 hours long? Where's the hit on that? I actually feel like they probably undersold themselves with the price of this game. And the fact that we have to realize this is the last big PlayStation game. It's coming out. We're not getting anything. There is no Christmas drop, so to speak. This is it. We got Tales of Arise, Life is Strange, and Kena Bridge of Spirits. Now, Kena Bridge of Spirits being the most important because it's the last PlayStation exclusive that we have. There are a few other PlayStation games coming out, don't get me wrong, but they're also released on other platforms. Now, as per PlayStation, it's just Kena. That's it. And this was supposed to be their big title. I think that they probably missed the mark on a few other games they thought were going to be released. Horizon Forbidden West. But either way, I think that this is a fine title to put as your monarch for the year of 2021. I'm glad they released it when they did. I think they could have held off, though, for it to be a big holiday release, because it's that good. It doesn't have to be hours and hours of mindless following quests to go here and there and there and there, like you get in like an Assassin's Creed kind of game. And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Assassin's Creeds, but after 80 hours, you really start to go mind numb. I think that this game is going to be really well received. I think, well, it's already being well received, but I think the critics and players alike are going to really enjoy this game for so many reasons. And I believe that this is going to be one of those games that really puts this development team on the map. Now, I'm curious though, have you guys picked it up? Are you thinking about getting it? Did the lack of reviews and that kind of thing, did that scare you off from getting it? Hopefully, you see all the reviews that are coming out now and you go and pick it up, because it's definitely worth it. Anyway, guys, please like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate you. Take care.